Go!
Hey there, Internets. TennisNet returning with head coach, Year 1, coaching Carousel for NCAA12. This is moving on to the following week 2, week 3, where I faced off against Tennessee, which I did sim through that game. More on that later. And we can see from the polls we're sitting not too pretty at number 72. This is a part of the joys of being with a one-star program. You know, it is what it is. And as I said, this is in the WAC. This is the 2014 WAC with some teams missing and teams that have moved on to other places. Just a quick peek again at the recruiting board to see how things are developing. Actually surprised at how many pipeline states Idaho has, although Texas and Nevada are in a little bit of jeopardy for losing. A nice geographic look at things there. It's kind of an interesting way to see where your recruits are at, where they're coming from. Is Idaho and their strengths and, of course, their weaknesses. It's a bit like the MAC. A lot of your strengths are actually B's. Everything else is C's and on down to D's and D pluses. This is just a look-see at how I was setting things up last week and doing a little bit of double check. Just trying to find, are there any 3 stars that I actually overlooked in some of these positions who might have like a 30 or 31% interest that I could hook in with a lot of extra looks. I did end up discarding a number of the ones that I put on in week 1 just because of you know, the golf was a little bit too much to overcome when you're starting down beyond 400 points. Just probably not a real shot of reeling those guys in. This is the way you generally should set up your recruiting board, where you search for recruits based on match. And you notice there aren't a whole lot of folks who do want to come to Iowa. Of those folks that are vaguely interested anywhere up to the number 10 school, most of them, pretty much all of them actually, 1 and 2 star kids, a few of which I did add to the recruiting board, some of which I didn't. Some of these 3-star guys, you can see it's just kind of hard. It's, you know, I've decided to hone in on just a few, just because you're starting from such a significant hole. Okay, so we're taking a look at the actual recruiting now, where you phone your recruit. You're allocated 10 hours. You have a certain amount of time that you can spend with all of your recruits. All these guys that I'm going to make a hard pitch for, I'm going to go ahead and put the full 60 minutes in. I'm going to try to ascertain interest in a lot of cases where I can. Where you get something weak like this, conference prestige, I'm just going to bail out of that and offer them, you know, make them a promise, or maybe go ahead and throw a scholarship offer out there. Try to get as many points piled onto these guys as I can. If they're early enough in the process, I can hopefully hook some interest into them. Start getting in the running for recruiting these guys. This is always nice when you get a coach's choice. Get to pick your favorite topic or your topic of strength. And of course, it's always fun when you find out, at least not so good. It's a good idea, I think, to get an idea of you know, their specific interest levels, topic by topic. This definitely helps you maximize your calling power down the road. Occasionally, though, I do make some blind pitches for something that I figure I've got some strength in. You can kind of guess based on the points that you're getting back. Another one of the 4-star guy or 3-star guys, sorry, that I'm going to make some pitches for. We'll go ahead and skip out of that. Move on to week 2. Look at the results. What happened? Some more guys added to the board, of course. Some of the 2-stars and 1-stars I mentioned. And you can see some green arrows. We did get some results. Some of these guys we've gone from nowhere and now we're on the board. Maybe we're 2nd, maybe we're 3rd, maybe we're 4th, like here. Mike Henry, our cornerback. I desperately need a cornerback. I'm number 4. One of my 3-stars, I'm actually number 1 now. And you can definitely see because all those red early in the process. So we'll keep that sort of train running, I hope. Moving on to the week 2 game here with Idaho making the trip to Ypsilanti, Michigan to face off against the Eastern Michigan Eagles in the MAC conference, my old conference. I added these guys to the schedule based on the fact that I got tired of, you know, playing the Alabamas of the world, like I said all the time. Don't mind 1 or 2 of those games. Got gifted early. They ran a wildcat. Halfback threw a pass with way too much air under it, and it's intercepted. The 8 people from Idaho who made the trip to see the game are obviously excited. And, of course, the drive that ensued went quickly and was capped off by this lovely touchdown run around the outside from the second-string running back. Do a lot of running back subbing just because I run the ball a fair amount. And because I'm running the ball a fair amount and it's very effective, play action also becomes effective. Catch a receiver going down seam, makes a nice throw down deep. Back makes a poor play, or it's poor computer animation, I'm not sure exactly which. And he streaks the rest of the way for the touchdown. Puts us up to a quick 14-3 lead. Pretty nice for an away game.
He's had a lot of success running the ball today.
Well, he sure has, but the offensive line.
I've never had this feature pop up before. I guess because I'm just running the ball so effectively, like here, as you can see in the highlight.
He's a threat to take it to the house every touch.
His performance and the rest of the teams for
okay, kid, now get out there and pile on.
This
is the game track coming out of the half.
They enjoy a comfortable lead. Let's get some more info from Aaron Andrews.
Thanks, Brad. It was a routine first half for these guys. The coaches had no real concerns heading into the locker room, and the players appear to be just as loose as they were during pregame warm-ups. And for Eastern Michigan, they've only registered 1 sack, so that's something the coach said he wanted to work on.
Well, if it weren't bad enough for the Eagles, we got the ball first coming out of the half. We drove right down the field, get a nice play-action pass again, and out to the tight end, boom. Next thing you know, 35-10. Okay, play of the game here. I'm just doing a dump off to the back, and he sits there. The defensive lineman who dropped back into coverage reaches up, picks off the pass, and starts running upfield. Looks like a rhino. I mean, look at this guy. Can he even turn his neck? I guess this is, like I said, this is payback for the DB or CB who missed on that sort of streak up the seam earlier in the game. Emu fans are going wild. Hey, that's their highlight, man. And what do you know? They actually turned that into a touchdown. And they're trying to make a game of it as the third quarter's coming to a close. 35-17. Idaho's still on top. Bad news is for the Eagles, we are driving again. Yes, it's not going to end pretty. No, it just kills me. So, as I said, we're driving down the field, drop back to pass, hit the back in a wide open gap in the zone. He bowls his way into the end zone. Touchdown, 42-17. Idaho Vandals now all over the Eastern Michigan Eagles, undeterred by the rain, throwing the ball, running the ball. I did get stopped on a 3rd and short on the ground, so I was kind of frustrated, decided to go for it. The Eagles totally sold out for the run. Play action pass, found the back in the slot, totally unguarded. He streaks the rest of the way to the end zone for a final touchdown. And, of course, not too long after that, the game was over. Idaho goes on the road, pulls out a big victory, 49-17 over the Eastern Michigan Eagles.
So, Kirk, how would you sum up the action in this one?
Well, I think intimidation may have played a factor in this game today. Eastern Michigan did not believe that they had a chance in this one from the start. You could see it in their eyes. You know what? Football is not just a game of brawn or muscle. It's a game that also requires a lot of mental preparation. These guys were not mentally prepared to win this football game.
And for Dahl, his superb play merits the honor of Player of the Game. For Eastern Michigan, they're off to a rough 0-2 start. And for Idaho, this is a nice way to rebound from their opening loss.
Well, speaking of the opening loss, I guess now would be a good time to talk about the Tennessee game as we look for the stats, look through the stats on the Eastern Michigan game. I was going down to number 10 Tennessee for the first game of the season. As a one-star program, I had no desire to sort of take my beating there, so I just decided to sort of sim through it and take it virtually. The joke was on me, though, because Idaho actually led at a couple points in that game as I saw it simming through. But, of course, Tennessee managed to pull out the victory with a touchdown in the last minute with a go-ahead extra point. And that was the tell of the tape. So we lost a respectable loss, 31-30 to Tennessee at Tennessee. Just taking a look at the player stats here, kind of seeing how the ball was spread around. Checking out, you know, the guys. What did they do? I guess that's me geeking out. Don't know whether you guys geek out that way looking game after game or not. At any rate, that wraps up this particular cast. Hopefully you were amused and entertained, and hopefully you've learned what to do, if only by my example of what not to do. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.